Did you have more?
I do got another story.
Ooh.
It's a little urban legend
Yes.
from when I lived in Ohio. So this urban legend is about a very wealthy farmer lived in Cuyahoga National Park in Ohio. What was then the national, or what is now the national park. And he was a very, very wealthy farmer. And it was said that each child that he and his wife had, he would go and build a barn and name the barn after the child. So they had successfully 6 children to this point. He's built 6 different barns, and then his wife gets pregnant with a 7th. Now, back in these times...
he's like, I'm shit out of barns.
Gosh damn it.
So his wife gets pregnant with their 7th child, and in the delivery, both the wife and the baby pass away. So
This is a long time ago?
this is a long, long time ago.
Dude, yeah, childbirth was no joke, bro.
Yeah.
He's all relieved because he doesn't have to build another barn.
So
Like, a grave is cheaper than a barn.
unfortunately, he'd already built the barn when he knew they were expecting their 7th.
Of course he did.
This was their 7th barn that he'd built. Now, after a few weeks of grieving, and like this farmer's starting to lose his fortune as he's like not caring for the farm and the animals and the crops and everything like that, the farm's basically just losing its money. In a fit of depression, he takes each of his children out to the barn with their name on it and takes an axe to them and kills them, and then buries them in the barn. And then he goes to the 7th barn and hangs himself.
Oh, how selfish, dude. Imagine life being so bad for you, not working out. It's like, well, life's not going to work out for you either.
But I don't know. In his sick mind, maybe he thought he was like ending all their suffering. Yeah, I don't know.
Did you ever play Call of Duty 2?
I did.
World War II one?
Mm-hmm. Best one.
Every time you died, there was a quote that came up on the screen.
Okay.
And one of the quotes that stuck out to me, and it was like war quotes, like Winston
And obviously,
Churchill.
it stuck with you.
It did. Not that I believe it, but I don't know why it just stuck with. But one of the quotes was, "Death solves all problems. No man, no problem." And now that I've thought about that a couple times since then. And that was when I was like, I don't know, maybe in middle school playing that game. But I was like, man, what a quote to put on for children.
Oh, gosh.
Jeez Louise.
That's getting heavy, like Spy Kids 2.
When Steve Buscemi drops that knowledge.
Do you think God hides in heaven because he's afraid of what he created?
Still messes me up.
In a children's movie?
Are we still falling? Or so maybe this father thought he was, I don't know, possibly.
Solving problems.
We'll never know.
Yeah, something was going through his mind where he ultimately led to him doing this.
Mm.
Now, the legend goes that if you go out to the 7th barn during the night, you can see the shadow of him hanging by the rafters and see the shadow on the ground. Now, this is a long, long time ago, and since then, the property that was his had been sectioned off. All these barns were now owned by different people, and they'd actually lost the history of where the barns were.
Mm-hmm.
There was a school teacher in Ohio who said he figured out where they were. He said he figured out where they were and was going to go out there at night to, see if that legend is real. And he...
Go for it, mate.
Why not?
He and his son go out to where he believed these barns were, and to the 7th barn specifically, and they were never seen again. His wife, the next day after not hearing from them, called the police, reported a missing person, and they found his abandoned vehicle parked somewhere along the road, close to an area that was predominantly farmland, but they never found him or his son again. And that's the legend of the seventh barn.
Ooh. The seventh barn. That's a good name. I wonder if the father turned on his son. Like if there's a spirit there.
Oh, he's like, I'm gonna end
like The
your
Shining,
problems.
dude.
Yeah,
hangs himself after committing the deed.
Mm-hmm.
That is like The Shining. He came in with the axe.
That's a high stakes urban legend right there.
Yeah.
Usually it's like, you hear a tapping on your door. This one's like, you die. And takes you and your son.
I know where the Cuyahoga National Park is and have been there.
Well, let us know.
But I don't recall seeing any barns specifically. Like, yeah, I don't know.
Jeez.
Could be a campfire story, but seems like could also have some legitimacy to it. That's all that I got today.
That's a good one.
That is a good one. I just love like classic urban legends. That's a classic one.
Mm-hmm.